That's what I think happened. The play got flipped. Somebody wasn't aware. And that is frustrating, right? When you see, when you see that is the reason why you gave up a big play in the NFL, and that's what they mean by communication. It's not getting the play call in. They got the play call in. It's a mental mistake. Not paying attention to where the ball is set, what hash the ball is set on, so you can know what coverage is on what side of the cover six. That's basically what cost you this game, was a mental mistake, was some J.R. Smith level mental error, right? Like they just fell asleep. And I don't want to say they because I'm pretty particular on who I think made the mistake here. All right, well, let's talk about this game, right? I think this is an important game to look at the tape and break down things because what happened here needs to be looked at. I know a lot of us want to ignore it, act like it didn't happen, and move on from it. But that's not the option that we have right now. We need to figure out why this game went the way that it did. A short W went to an L. How did that happen? We're going to break that down today. By the way, shout out to the patreon.com members down below. Y'all give them a shout out. Also, if you want to help grow the channel or help me be able to do more things like this film breakdown, please go to the Patreon and show some love over there. That being said, let's talk about this game because there's a lot to talk about. There's a lot to talk about. I'm going to start from where I think the collapse started, where it should have ended multiple times, and so on and so forth, right? So let's get started with this breakdown. So this is a play right here where the Browns get into pretty good position, and you're thinking, man, Browns are about to end this game. We're about to be on our way. And this is before the Nick Chubb touchdown, right? So they get here. Kareem Hunt makes something out of nothing, and you get the ball to the 35-yard line. And that would be what? A 45, 50-yard field goal would have ended the game, right? So Kareem Hunt right here. And it wouldn't have ended the game, but it would have eventually made the lead insurmountable if you would have still scored on the next possession. So again, Kareem Hunt gets upfield, makes something out of nothing, makes a big-time play. All right, cool. You at 35. You got points here. Right? If you're the Cleveland Browns, you have to be thinking, hey, I have points here. Don't ruin it. And to their credit, they tried not to. Play calling wise, at least. Execution wise, things just went wrong. And I think some went on play calling too, right? But yeah. So there's that. All right, so this play right here, I want you to watch two things. All right. So we're gonna watch. I'm sorry if my voice is away from the mic right now. But we're gonna watch Jesse James. Where's Jesse James? This Jesse James. Jesse James right here, and then James Hudson right here. Keep your eye on these two because this play gets blown up based off of what these two aren't able to accomplish in it. Now, partly this is just good defense by the Jets, but again, we're in this situation. We have to evaluate why specifically everything went wrong in it, and this is one of those reasons, right? So we get here, and you see automatically right there, boom. So first things first, Jesse James doesn't do a good job pulling here, right? He takes a really long route, really slow route to get there. So watch Jesse James, 81. He's lined up at fullback. And he is way too close to Kareem Hunt. He should be out on that opposite hash by now. He's not even close. And you can see this is going to be a problem for Jesse James if he wants to seal that edge, which he's unable to do. He doesn't even get a hand on the guy. So Jesse James, numero uno right there, didn't do his job or didn't get into position. And then over here, you see James Hudson. number 66. He's the right tackle. He's covered up by 88, so he's the second guy on the bottom of your screen on the line of scrimmage. And he is trying to, I think he's trying to, he's trying to get up ahead, get to that second level. He just overshoots it. And credit to that linebacker. I believe that's Quincy Williams. Does a good job of just shooting that gap. Right? Just got there before the O lineman can get hands on it. We'll see this from the backside angle, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about again. Jesse James, late, doesn't get there in time, and Mr. 3, super early on the Jets. 3 and green was super early. Blew the play up. Damn. Good defense by the Jets. All right, but you got this next play, right? So you lose 5 yards. That sucks. This next play. All right, we're going to try to run it with Nick Chubb. What happens here? C.J. Mosley blew it up, right? C.J. sniffed this one out. This play call never had a chance. C.J. knew what was coming. Now, you can blame that on Kevin Stefanski. You can just say it's a good play by C.J. I think it's a little bit of both, right? I think there's a room to say that C.J. made a great play, and Kevin probably should have did something that he shouldn't have gone back to the well that many times on this play, especially when they ain't been working all game. But yeah. I mean, we can blame David Njoku for not getting to his spot, but like, look, CJ knows exactly where this ball is going to be by the time they snap it, and David has no chance. Like, David never has a shot to block him, so it's not really his fault. Like, CJ really just blew this up. And it's there. If CJ's not there, it's there. It's a big play, but CJ's there. He blew it up. He made a huge play. Huge play by the defense there, by CJ Mosley. Again, we'll see it from this angle. This is why CJ Mosley's an all-pro linebacker. His ability to do stuff like this. Good job, CJ. All right. So now you lost yards on 2 consecutive plays. You're now at the 42, so we're talking about like a 58-yard field goal. It's not realistic at this point, right? Like, Kate York can make it. That's not a field goal you're going to kick in this situation because you don't want to give the Jets a short field in a 7-point game. So no field goal, right? You're not in field goal range anymore. You can kick 58-yard field goals at the end of games when it doesn't matter if they get possession if you miss it. You can't kick no 58-yard field goal in this situation. So you're not in field goal range. Okay, so here's what I think the offensive line was thinking, right? Because you could see unbalanced front, nobody here. They're thinking, hey, we don't want to slide protect left and let a free runner come from this side, which would probably happen. Because in the event that C.J. Mosley blitz, if you slide, that's a gamble. So they don't slide protect. They man that up, and they just kind of leave Wyatt Teller here waiting for a man blitz, but it never comes. And that kind of throws off the whole protection. So that's just a good play call by Robert Saleh, I have to say. And look, there is room here to be critical of the Browns, but also to give praise to the Jets for playing much better than I think we anticipated. And that's what happened too. Like, I think the Jets are just a better defensive unit than what people were expecting, and they were a better coached defensive unit than what we were expecting. And this is one of those examples here. So C.J. Mosley, they do a good job in the play call. And then this, unfortunately, results in a sack, right? Pressure gets through, and then Jacoby goes down. And now you got to punt for sure because you're on the 50-yard line. All right, let's talk about this damn drive. Well, no, this ain't the drive yet, right? This ain't the drive yet. No, this is the drive. Okay, yep. So let's talk about it. Because this is where okay. All right. So, missed opportunity, right? You get that field goal plus the touchdown at the end of this game. So, again, another missed opportunity. You get the field goal plus the touchdown at the end of this game. Probably talking about a victory, right? Probably talking about a weird collapse, but a victory. But you had other opportunities to win this game too, obviously. So, and let's talk about one of these missed opportunities. We're JOK. He comes down on this play, makes a great play here, punches the ball out, and we just can't get to it in time, right? Just nobody there is fast enough to get to the ball. Again, JOK, watch him, makes a great play. And then this one is where you almost lost it because Demetric Felton almost fumbles one of the most critical punts of the game. Thank goodness we got back on. I just don't know how we can justify keep putting him back out there. All right, so this has been a point of discussion for a lot of people is what happened on these two plays. Why didn't they stay in bounds? Why did they run to the outside? Well, again, what you see on the field with a lot of these plays, especially with run plays, isn't always indicative of what the original play call was, right? Running backs freelance as much as anybody. I mean, even more than anybody because they have the freedom to it. They're really the only ones that matter in their entire play call. And this is one of those situations where the play call wasn't supposed to be to bounce the ball to the outside, but the opportunity was to the outside. So they took that opportunity. And that's what happened in both these runs. Kareem Hunt, right here, let's go to it. You can see right here, and I'll show you where. Gets this. And he's supposed to take, well, ideally, Harrison either pulls or he stuffs there. He can go up the field here and then have the numbers, right? Now, ironically enough, if Harrison is able to get to that spot and close out, which I don't think he is because I think he overran it, that would be a touchdown anyways, and then the Jets would have had the 2-minute warning. So we would be in the same exact situation that we are in now, even if he would have cut it upfield and not gone towards the boundary. So he did the right thing. He did the right play call, the right play for him, right, to get the most out of this play, given that was taken up. And he bounced this thing outside. Unfortunately, he could not stay in bounds, right? He gets to the sideline, and you can see he really wants to try to stay in bounds right here. But it's only so much you could do running 20 miles per hour at 220 pounds. Like, there's only so much you could do athletically. But he tries to, right? And you'll see what I mean here. Yeah, CJ almost blows it up again. I mean, look what he did to Harrison Brown. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. This is he got shook. CJ Mosley's really good, y'all. Look at this. Oh my goodness. And then Harrison does a good job recovering. Okay. He did a good job recovering. Got to the edge. Tries to stay in bounds. And only so much you could do. That's a man wearing 97 trying to throw you out of bounds, dog. It's gonna happen. You going out of bounds. Like, I can't even blame him on that. All right. But hey, get the first down. And again, I think they try to run an inside run here with Chubb. Right? They go inside. It's stuff. He cuts out. It's not. And then he has, two people to beat to in his mind, to win the game. So he's making a game-winning play. How can you blame somebody for that? I know he took blame for it for whatever reason, because he's just that kind of a dude. But again, the call was in the middle. You can see Joe Bitonio getting to that second level. CJ Mosley again blows this thing up. I think that's CJ Mosley. I can't see behind that camera. But then Nick Chubb does a really good job of just getting to this edge. And because he's Nick Chubb and he can do things that like most people can't, he scores on this play. Most people don't score on this play because they're not as talented as Nick Chubb. Not because they don't want to, but because Nick Chubb is Nick Chubb and he could do Reggie Bush stuff at 245 pounds, he scores. Just nasty. By the way, LaMarcus Joyner, we got to bring you back right here. We got to bring that back. Ooh, nasty. Again, he's being punished. Nick Chubb is literally being punished right now for being incredibly talented. Now, not a single other running back in the NFL can do this at Nick Chubb's weight. Okay, Christian McCaffrey, Derrick Henry, they not doing stuff like this. But since Nick Chubb is supremely talented, that he can do this at 240. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Cut. That man go east-west. And just walks in. That's like what Lamar Jackson does to people. But Nick Chubb's much bigger. Much bigger. He scores. Now let's talk about what actually lost the game. You're up 13 points. They have no timeouts. Okay, let me repeat this. You're up 13 points because the down and distance, when we do film reviews, people be putting film tape on Twitter. Don't be having the down and distance. That's garbage. If you're going to do film review, you got to have down and distance in these kind of critical situations. So this is the down and distance in the game situation. It's the fourth quarter. You're up by 13 points. 13 points with less than 2 minutes. I think 2:55 left on the clock. By the way, if Nick Chubb doesn't score there, I'm pretty sure the 2-minute warning happened before that. So at best, you would have gotten it down to 40 seconds. And once you see how fast the Jets were able to score, I don't even know if that would have been too little time for the Jets to win this game, to be honest with you, because this is just embarrassing how this happened. But that's the down and distance. Well, the down is first now, but the situation is 2 minutes left, no timeouts. First down here, and we're going to get to it. All right, so I want you guys to watch what's going on here, right? Because this is actually a good play call. They're getting this play call, and some of you guys might be asking, hey, Q, why are they leaving the flat so open right now? Again, they're up 13 points. There's 2 minutes left, and the Jets can't call a timeout. The Browns are begging the Jets to throw it flat. Because if you throw the flat, here's what happens. Tackled inbounds. All right, cool. You waste another 20 seconds. You got 7 yards, though, but you wasted 20 seconds. We good. Now, the reason I got this play on here isn't necessarily for that play, because I want to show you guys what's going on this play, because it might come up later to be very, very important. Because there's some things here that open my eyes on what happens on the next play. So again, Denzel Ward's on this side of the field. He's carrying this route deep down the field. Okay? So he's carrying. Then on this side, you got like seam flat. He's supposed to come over, roll, I believe. That's how this is getting covered. It looks like cover 6. That's what it looks like, right? I'm not 100% sure if it's cover 6, but it would make sense, right? If you don't care if they get the flat at all, then it's probably cover 6 or some version of quarters. And since both the DBs on both sides, and the reason you would know if it was quarters, right? So here's how I know it's not quarters. If Denzel goes deep and this player goes deep and this safety are holding, that's quarters, because you have 4 deep safeties, 3 underneath. You know, that would be quarters. This wasn't quarters. This is cover 6. They call it cover 6 because one side is cover 2, the other side is cover 4, right? So you have quarters on one side, and this is the quarters side because Denzel is carrying, he's holding, and then you have cover 2 over here because Grant Delpit, is responsible for this hash and over. You have these 3 guys underneath. He's holding up seam. He's holding down. So that's cover 6. That's what they're in. They're in cover 6. You add 2 plus 6. You get 2 plus 4. You get 6. Cover 6. That's why they call it cover 6. They're in cover 6. This is the play, and they got the 4 side on the strong side of the field. No, on the weak side of the field. So 4 weak, 4 on the weak. You know it's the weak because the ball's on this hash. This is the short side, and this is the field side. They have the 2 side on the field side. I hope that was understandable for everybody, and I'm not going too fast. But that's what I think the play call is. That's what it looks like to my eye. I could be wrong on that, but that's what it looks like. I'm pretty sure it is. All right, so they're in cover 6, and Denzel's carrying. They're running the play. They're running the play, right? You see the 2 side here. They're running cover 2. Good job. Okay, that's exactly how the play call is supposed to be. Now, this is the Corey Davis play, right? And I was watching, it's like, man, this looks eerily familiar. And then I realized what happened. This is the exact same play call. Or they think it's the exact same play call, right? Because now Denzel is on the opposite side, right? So Denzel's on this side. He was on the weak side earlier. Well, now since the hash got flipped on that last play, right? So on the last play, the hash was on this side. Now, because of that play, the ball is on this hash. So this play got flipped, right? So now what was field side on the last play is weak side. This is weak side. That was field side last time, and now this is field or strong, right? Field, strong, whatever you use, whatever terminology you use. So the play got flipped because the ball changed hash, right? And that messed up everything for them for whatever reason. Because what I think happened here was that they were in the same exact play call that they were supposed to be in before. This is supposed to be cover 6, right? Last time, this was strong side. That was weak. So now Denzel is on weak side. The play call got flipped. So now they're moving Denzel over to weak side, but the play is still the same, right? This is still the same. This is still cover 2 on this side, or supposed to be cover 2. And this is still supposed to be cover 4 because it's still cover 6, I think. Because when I watch Martin Emerson, he carries and follows like he should. John Johnson stays right there. These two, I believe, JOK, I think these two go out this way, here, and then again, he's thinking I'm covering here. I got safety help over top. He's going to watch this hashing over. That's what I think is supposed to happen, and if it does, Grant's there, underneath is covered. We can rally to the flat because nothing should be there over top, right? Because Martin's here, John's here, Grant's here. But again, since the boundary side, since the field sides got flipped, right? Because the ball got put on a different hash, somebody probably was not paying attention, right? So when they heard 6 and they heard the flip, they thought, okay, it's flipped. So, and I don't want to blame Grant Delpit, but I think here's my untrained theory on what happened on this play. All right. So I want to give y'all this. This is my untrained, unexpert, I'm not an NFL coach, eye on what happened on this play, given what I know. The ball got flipped, right? So the hash got flipped. Grant wasn't paying attention. Grant doesn't know that the hash got flipped. He's not really looking at it. I don't know how. Again, this could be very wrong, but Grant still thinks they're in the same play, but it's flipped. So last time he was this guy. Now he's just going to be on the 4 side of this play, and then he's expecting Denzel Ward to carry, right? So he thinks he's on the 4 side, the cover 4 side of the cover 6, because he's not aware of where the ball is and how that flipped the play. He plays cover 4. And Denzel, he's aware that he should be on the 2 side of this cover 6. And again, this is how it happens, man. Basically, this is how it happened. Grant thought this was cover 4 and this was cover 2 on the cover 6. But everybody else was playing this like this was cover 2, and this was cover 4. That's what I think happened. The play got flipped. Somebody wasn't aware. And that is frustrating, right? When you see that is the reason why you gave up a big play in the NFL, and that's what they mean by communication. It's not getting the play call in. They got the play call in. It's a mental mistake. not paying attention to where the ball is set, what hash the ball is set on, so you can know what coverage is on what side of the cover six. That's basically what cost you this game, was a mental mistake, was some J.R. Smith level mental error, right? Like they just fell asleep. And I don't want to say they because I'm pretty particular on who I think made the mistake here, given that Martin Emerson does carry on the other side and plays it like it's cover two and everybody else is playing this side like four except for one player. Like that's what I think happened. And that's where I think they lost this game. And they can fix this very easily, but you have to wonder if the player that I'm pointing out, if he can stay on the field if this stuff continues to happen, because it always continues to happen around this kind of stuff. A lot of people are going to want to blame Joe Woods for this breakdown. This is not on Joe Woods. NFL players should be able to pay attention to these details. Hey, I'm jumping in here after the video was edited. I wanted to add in this part to this whole conversation because I went in pretty hard with the cover six interpretation of this play. There's also another way that you could look at it where it's possible that the Browns might have been in cover two the previous play and then changed the call to cover four quarters in the next play, and that play didn't get called. And the reason it looks like cover six is because Denzel Ward is running cover two still, because for whatever reason, the play call did not get to him or he did not listen to it. And the other side was obviously running corner. So this could be a situation where they were just running two regular on the play before and Denzel Ward messed up. I put a lot of blame on Grant Delpit. It's kind of hard to tell because Grant's not really like saying anything, and Denzel Ward disputed this interpretation of it, but there's still room for that to be true. Just didn't want to seem like I'm giving a one-sided interpretation based on what I did on this film review, and wanted to make sure that everybody still has that interpretation that's out there that could also still be true. So this is very much up for debate, but that's what I saw. Again, the film's here. You can look at it and see if you think I'm wrong on this, but that's what I think happened. It's the same play from before. That's undeniable. This is the same play from before. And again, Denzel's playing just like two. Somebody comes underneath. And if you look on this other side, John Johnson's holding his hash like it's cover four on his side. And Martin Emerson is carrying his receiver like this is cover four. There's one player out of position here. It's Grant Delpit. Again, I know there's other opinions on what happened here. That's what I think happened. This was cover six, and somebody thought it was two side, and it wasn't. And that's what happens, man. That sucks. Now let's go to this onside kick. I wanted to blame Amari Cooper for this, but I'm going to be real with you. This is just a good-ass onside kick. I don't know what he could have did about this. It got right to the edge. He couldn't get a good angle on it. It's a good-ass, like, this is like watching a baseball player bunt and get on first base. Like, it's just a perfect bunt. Man, it's a good-ass kick. I can't be mad at that. That's not on Mike Prefer. The fake punt, not on Mike Prefer. The bad kick returns and stuff, oh, yeah, absolutely 100% on Mike Prefer. All right, and this drive was brutal, right? So what happens on this drive is that they get stuck in this cover, this Tampa 2, right? Because they just tried to run cover 6, and it got blown up. Now you're not in a situation where you can run cover 6. So here's what I think happened on this drive. I think what happens on this drive is that Joe Woods' hands get tied because he can't call some of the more complex coverages. Like he can't really go into cover 3 right now because he doesn't trust that his safety knows exactly where to be, because he just had a player get lost because he wasn't paying attention to where the ball was. Now he just decides, hey, I'm going to try my best to play some cover 3, but I can't be in cover 3, so I'll play Tampa 2, right? If you don't know what Tampa 2 is, I'll show you real quick. Tampa 2 is basically cover 2.5 because you have the 2 deep safeties. You have the cover 2 coverage. Well, actually, that's not accurate. My bad. Let me go back a little bit. So you have 2 deep safeties. You have a corner that's going to play back off, then crash if he sees something in the flat. Same thing for this corner. He's going to play back off and then crash if they see anything in the flat. You can see what the problem was already by me pointing that out. And then under, and then middle. So it's cover three, but since you have to play it like this, a normal cover three would be a little bit more aggressive, right? You would have more guys a little bit closer to the line of scrimmage, but since you're playing this Tampa 2, it's going to be a bit off, bit soft, and then the DBs have to backpedal, then go upfield, which let the Jets get room to go out of bounds all day on this drive. It's brutal. It's brutal. And again, bad play call, I think, by Joe Woods, but I'm trying to look at what happened before, and I think his hand was forced. Like, I don't know what I would have done either because, like, I can't trust them to go into cover three right now, especially when you don't know why exactly that happened. You know, so again, they get room, get space on the outside. This is just crazy. Again, another play where they're playing that Tampa 2. This is all Tampa 2 right here. They're playing Tampa 2. This is actually a play where they get out of Tampa 2. We'll let it play before I break it down. But they get out of Tampa 2 here. I think they send a blitz. This is one where they blitz. Yeah, they blitz. They overload one side. And they're in a good play call here. Chase Winovich just does a terrible job. And I know you guys are going to be like, why was Chase Winovich in coverage? No. He should have been in coverage, right? Because you're going to overload one side. And again, I talked about this in a preview. You want to overload. So what you're doing is, hey, instead of sending 6 and leaving a limited amount of coverage, what I will do is send 5 versus 3 to get the numbers. So they're going to send 5 versus 3 here. If you're going to send 5, you're going to drop one back. That's why Chase Winovich is in the game. And the reason you drop Chase Winovich back is because Joe Flacco is going to see the overload immediately upon the snap. You show blitz, and he's going to want to go hot to either this guy or this guy. Since you're overloading on this side, this guy's not an option because there's no passing lane for him. So he's taking out the play. The only guy you can really go to in this formation is whoever's going to be running the route on this hash. So you have a player that's not integral to the overload, like Chase Winovich is, drop back in coverage so that he can be the guy that's there interrupting that passing lane for the out. This is a really good play call. This is a really, really good play call by Joe Woods. I contend this. I will defend this play call to the end of the day. This was the right play call to be in. It doesn't work, though, because let's watch what Chase Winovich does, right? This happens. Instead of Chase doing what he's supposed to and just straight dropping back, which he does, for whatever reason right here, he sees the flat open up. That's not his responsibility. He should not be worried about the flat. And instead of sticking on his man like he had been, he bites the flat. He gets flat-footed and he bites the flat. And then boom. It's Garrett Wilson, dog. Great play call. He bit the flat. Can't do it. And in this one, they called him back in that cover 2. I mean, they're back in that Tampa 2. You can see it. You can see how the safeties are leveraging off, right? This is Tampa 2. You see the 3 dudes in the field, and they're just in regular. They're not even Tampa 2, my bad. This is 2 under. And they just get the seam. JOK almost makes a play on it, but get the seam. Great play. Great play. Great play there. And then this is the play where Jacoby Brissett throws an interception. Jets has did a good job here, right? Yeah, nobody's open. Once he gets to the top of his drop, nobody's open. I believe there's like 10 seconds left in this game. Maybe he could have threw it out of bounds. This is basically a Hail Mary. All right, he just kind of threw it to Amari Cooper and prayed. Some people are going to try to point out that Donovan Peoples-Jones is open. Donovan Peoples-Jones is barely even running a route on this play. Like, I don't know what he's doing. I think he's running like a clear, right? Because he gets engaged with